Welcome to Studio 501c3. I'm your host, Kim Jones, Executive Director of the Nonprofit Village. Our show features nonprofit organizations designated as 501c3 by the IRS for providing a public benefit, and in most instances, your donations to them are tax deductible. We are a proud partner of Montgomery Community Media in highlighting this community's fantastic nonprofit programs and services. MCM is your public resource that provides access to information relevant to our community. On today's episode, we're talking to Shane Rock, the Chief Executive Officer of Interfaith Works, a nonprofit that serves our neighbors in need. The goal is to help end poverty in Montgomery County. Shane, thank you so much for joining us in Studio 501c3.
Kim, it's absolutely a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get started and tell our audience a little bit more. Interfaith Works has a lot of programs: Progress Place, Clothing Center, emergency assistance, resiliency training, making sure that you're advocating on behalf of the most vulnerable in our community and making sure that they sustain whatever it is that you can help put in place for them. Tell us a little bit more, just for a minute, about those programs and what you do on a daily basis at Interfaith Works.
Sure. What we do at Interfaith Works is enable people to lift themselves up. So we're really about providing the proper amount of help to people who are experiencing homelessness or poverty in Montgomery County. We do three things. We prevent people from falling through the social safety net. We help stabilize those who are experiencing crises or don't have housing. And then we empower people to lift themselves up. Really important work. We do it. The programs are incredibly effective and important to our most vulnerable residents and neighbors.
And you're working throughout the community. It isn't as if Interfaith Works is in one location. You have programs that are set up all around Montgomery County that are helping in so many ways, and you're partnering with a number of other frontline and safety net providers as well. So where are some of the programs located?
Sure, we have full service locations in Montgomery County, but we reach the entire county. The 4 locations are the Interfaith Works Clothing Center on Twin Brook Parkway in Rockville, the Interfaith Works Women's Center just off Goody Drive in Rockville, Progress Place in downtown Silver Spring off Georgia Avenue, and 2 permanent supportive housing programs in Aspen Hill and Montgomery Village.
Okay, great. So people, that we're going to make sure to get your website up and everything later on, but people know that there are a number of places that they can go and be helped by Interfaith Works. Crises happen all the time. We've had economic downturns. We've had government shutdowns. We've had extensive government shutdowns. We've had the COVID health emergency there, and more will be coming over time. What happens to your team and all of the people that then become even more vulnerable at those times of emergencies and crises?
Right. Just in general times when we don't have crises, we serve 17,000 people a year who are experiencing poverty or homelessness. During time of crisis, we focus on the greatest needs during that crisis. So for example, during the federal government shutdown, we focused on utility assistance and eviction prevention because we knew that people weren't getting their paychecks and it was causing them to have acute financial crises. During COVID-19, we've been focusing on our shelter programs and our permanent supportive housing, helping the most vulnerable who are experiencing homelessness or are formerly homeless in our community, ensuring that they stay safe and healthy, and that we're protecting the community. And we're engaging the entire community in serving during these crisis times in response.
Okay, and the average person, what can one person who sees this and says, these are fantastic services for my neighbors, how can I help? What can they do besides, I can go to your website and just learn more?
Well, there are many ways that anyone can help. One, the people can donate their household goods and their clothing through the Interfaith Works Clothing Center, can volunteer at any of our programs. All of our programs that are residential feature community members providing the meals to the residents of those facilities.
Yeah.
So for example, at the Interfaith Works Women's Center, where 70 women live each night, the community provides 60,000 meals a year.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Other ways, of course, money is always appreciated and it helps us. We can spend it on whatever the greatest need is at the particular time.
Okay, so that's good to know. And student groups can help. Civic organizations can help. Anybody would be able to log on. I've been all over your website, and anybody can log on and see, here are the needs, and also sign up for alerts from Interfaith Works. So I think that's important as well.
Agreed. I mean, we can only do this work with the partnership of peer organizations, like Manna Food, Coalition for the Homeless, Nonprofit Village, many others, Every Mind. There are just so many folks that we work with, McHale. Those organizations help us do our work, as do volunteers and donors. We can't do it without the community. This is a community organization. We've been serving the community since 1972.
Okay. And the tremendous partnerships that you've put in place really are a model for everyone, for every kind of organization, individuals, how you can work together. It really works well. It's a reason that you were recognized last year for one of the best practice nonprofits in the county. So we have some more questions for you, but we want to take a quick break. We're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we're going to hear more about the programs, the services provided by Interfaith Works that help end poverty, and we'll ask some other questions about what's coming up with Interfaith Works in the future. Studio 501c3 on Montgomery Community Media. We'll be right back.
Jimmy can't sing,
and Tommy can't dance,
so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww, they walk like a monkey, hop like a bunny. Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants.
One more time.
Jimmy can't sing,
and Tommy can't dance,
so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants. They've got ants in their pants, they've got...
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Welcome back to Studio 501c3, your window into Montgomery County's premier nonprofit organizations. I'm Kim Jones, and we're talking with Shane Rock, CEO of Interfaith Works. Shane, again, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
So one of the things that I wanted to get to in this segment is that I think it was the Cofield Recreation Center that I was reading about recently that is making space available to Interfaith Works for some of the crisis support that you need. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. In response to the COVID-19 crisis, the closed community recreation center at Cofield, it has been made available to us to house women experiencing homelessness. The women who are being temporarily sheltered there came from the Interfaith Works Women's Center, Progress Place, and the seasonal Rainbow Place shelter. Mm-hmm. By moving up to 50 women into the Cofield Recreation Center, we were able to increase social distancing and bed spacing at our existing facilities, increasing the health and safety in all of those facilities. We're grateful to Montgomery County for making this possible. It's really enhanced the ability to keep people safe, both our staff and the people who are experiencing homelessness that we serve, and reduced the anxiety level among everyone. It's made it really a much more manageable situation at this point.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, it seems to be that the purpose of that was the safety measures, and these extra measures that you put in place obviously have a positive impact. So does it allow you to serve more as well?
It does. It provides for some additional expansion at our other facilities. And we need that because what we're seeing across the spectrum of organizations that serve people experiencing homelessness is an increase in the number of people who need help. Okay. So we needed the additional capacity, and we needed the ability to space people further apart.
Okay. And just real quickly, I was also reading recently an Aspen Institute article about they were touting why hotels shouldn't open up as more space for sheltering those who are in need. And it's not just the medical and healthcare professionals who are so important to make sure that they're housed as closely as possible, but also the vulnerable in the community. What would you think about something like that?
Well, I think it's really important to be thoughtful about how we may use hotel facilities. I think they are appropriate where you need to be able to isolate people who are symptomatic in a crisis such as COVID-19. However, the downside of that is that people who need constant case management support for their mental health needs and their medical needs are more isolated, and it's much more difficult to deliver those services and provide that support.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so very good point. I want to go back to more ways that viewers can support your work. How important are individual donations? Everybody is dealing with their own crisis, their own lack of employment, but sometimes people feel like I can sacrifice a little bit. How important are some direct donations to you right now?
They're absolutely vital. The things we really need right now, as of today, are cloth masks. If people are making masks at home, we need them for both our guests and for our staff. We're making some ourselves, but it's difficult to make enough. Right. So that's one thing. Second, we need those sanitary products such as bulk hand sanitizer, cleaning wipes, all these things. Okay. And anything.
All right, good. All right, so we'll make sure to let people know how to get those to you. I'm sorry to say that we're almost out of time here. There's so much more that I could have asked you about, but I hope the audience has learned a little bit more about the services provided by Interfaith Works and how you are helping so many in our community. This is incredible work that you're doing. So I want to thank you, Shane, for sharing all this good information with our audience, and all the best as you continue to serve on the front line as a safety net service in Montgomery County.
Thank you, Kim. And I want to say thank you to our heroic frontline staff who are doing the work every day and serving this community and giving of themselves. So thank you.
Thank you. For more information on Interfaith Works, visit their website at iworksmc.org. I'm Kim Jones, Executive Director of the Nonprofit Village. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to come back for another edition of Studio 501c3 on Montgomery Community Media. This episode of Studio 501c3 was sponsored by MBA Growth Partners.